Hi, my name is Sandra. I'm a holistic trauma coach and the owner of Rise Above Your Story, a business focused on transformational trauma healing. I help trauma survivors transform their victim mentality and support them in awakening to their immeasurable worth and innate power. Being a sexual assault victim myself and having transformed my own intense emotional trauma, I know how it feels to be both a victim and a survivor. I also know how liberating it feels to let it all go. I have found my life's purpose in helping others heal and overcome their emotional trauma, take back their lives, rise above their story, and discover who they truly are. I've created a 12-step program in which I will gradually guide a trauma survivor towards a place of healing and freedom from the emotional pain they're held hostage to. We work to clear and transform paralyzing triggers as well as sabotaging beliefs and behaviors, which are all aspects of PTSD. Self-awareness, self-regulation, vulnerability, and open communication are critical parts of this program that will work to instill a sense of safety, protection, and empowerment. But let's talk about trauma. How does trauma affect us? First of all, trauma is not just emotional. Trauma affects the whole body. Let's say you're a sexual assault victim. Your body will always remember each and every touch, each and every sensation. Your emotions will remember how you felt, always. All your senses will remember certain smells, certain sounds, certain words that someone said. Your whole body remembers. And so in order to heal the trauma, we have to heal the whole body. When you're traumatized, your body goes in fight or flight mode, which means you're trying to protect yourself, which is a good thing. But the downside is that this protection will stay. It will continue for years and years to come because we're so struggling with our pain that we have no idea how to let it go. But whatever is holding us back from healing is within ourselves. And this is a good thing because what's within ourselves, we can control. We can let go. We just have to be strong enough to do that. And that's what I want to help you with. Letting it all go. So how are we emotionally affected with trauma? We may feel worthless. We may feel unlovable. We may have very low self-esteem. We tend to loathe ourselves. We get triggered. We have intimacy issues. We always seem to find the wrong person when it comes to relationships. We may have physical pain or other physical issues that have no real cause. We may feel anxious, have panic attacks or depression. We may never feel truly happy. Everything is always missing. And we may feel numb or unable to feel true emotions. All those things are directly related to trauma. Now, trauma does not have to be anything intense or life-changing. Trauma can be little things. Let's say you've been bullied in school. It wasn't the same way as being bullied now. This is just insane. But when we're growing up, bullying was a part of school. It is trauma in itself, but a little bit. Not as intense as sexual assault or abuse or having a narcissistic relationship. So, but even though it's small, it's still trauma and it still follows us throughout our lives. So how can we release the trauma? Okay, so how can we release the trauma? The first thing we have to acknowledge is that what's holding us back is the part that used to protect us. So the worst thing we can do is resent that part of us. We have to acknowledge it. We have to embrace it. We have to really wrap our arms around it and say, thank you. Thank you for protecting me. I really appreciate that. But now I'm starting to feel safe. So this protection is not necessary anymore. So let's work together and release it. So really, love every part of you, especially the dark part, because the dark part of us, the negative part of us only wants to be acknowledged. It wants to be heard. It wants to say, here, I am here. Give me your love. Don't resent me. And this is how we start trauma healing, by really loving every part of us. And then the next part we have to realize is that we are holding ourselves hostage. It's not the person who abused us. It's not the situation that traumatized us. It's us. We're keeping ourselves hostage because we're afraid that if we let go and go back to the person we used to be, that happy person that's full of life, that everything will start all over again. It won't. Because we grew. And despite all the negative emotions that we have, we still became stronger. We're still here. We're still standing. So we are stronger than we used to be when we were abused. We know that we would never let this happen again. And this knowledge makes it so much easier to understand that it's time that we allow ourselves to let the past go. Because only then can we heal. Yes, the trauma will always remain a part of us, but it doesn't have to encase us. It doesn't have to control who we are. It doesn't have to keep us low. We have to rise. We have to step out of our comfort zone. And that's what we need for trauma healing. Overstep our own boundaries and say, nope, I'm going to, let's say, go out and talk about what's really in my heart, even though I'm terrified of standing in front of a crowd of people who may not want to hear my story. Trust me, your story matters. And your story is worth sharing, and your story is worth healing. This is why I called my business Rise Above Your Story. Because when you heal your trauma, you will rise above it. It will be below you. It will not be a part that's encasing you, like controlling you. It lost its grip on you. So rise above your story and let it go. Find your way back to yourself. Another part that really is difficult for trauma survivors is triggers. You've probably experienced this. Someone, let's say your spouse is saying something or is doing something, and all of a sudden you just throw a fit out of nowhere. You feel so emotional at that moment. That is a trigger caused by a memory that you suppressed. But in that moment, your spouse did something that reminded your subconscious of what happened. So once again, triggers are a good thing, even though they're difficult in the moment, but they show you what needs to be healed. So in order to work with the triggers, try and figure out the source. Where was that coming from? Was it a sound of voice? Was it a smell? Was it an action? Or just one basic word or one phrase that, gave you goosebumps? Think about that. And this is how you can release the triggers and heal what triggered it. And most importantly, share it with your spouse, because your spouse has no idea why you just exploded. Let him be part of it. Okay, so another important part is to forgive yourself and forgive the person who traumatized you. Not for their sake, for yours. Because only when you forgive can you let go. And that's so important. Because only forgiveness means love. And loving yourself is the most important thing. Accepting who you are at this moment and looking forward to the person you will become once you let go of your trauma. Now, all those points that I just gave you are things that I can help you with. With my 12-step program, I can gradually help you over your self-sabotaging beliefs, over your traumatic past, and I will show you how to let it go. I will step-by-step work with you. We work through your triggers, and I will give you exercises you can do by yourself. You can include your spouse if you feel like it. So if you work with me, you will rise like the phoenix from the ashes of your own pain. You will unfold layers of your true self and bloom like a beautiful rose. You will unfold petals of light that promise new life and new beginnings. This is who you are at your innate core. And it is this profound realization that ultimately sets you free and empowers you to rise above your story. If you would like to know more about my program or schedule a free consultation, please visit www.riseaboveyourstory.com or send me an email at sandra@riseaboveyourstory.com, or you can call or text 226-246-1133. And as a special bonus, I'm offering you 20% off of your first coaching session. To claim your bonus prize and schedule your coaching session, please contact me within 7 days and reference this video. And at the end of this video, I just want to give you a word of advice. The most important journey you can ever embark on is the journey to yourself. Love and light, Sandra.